All right, I'm here with Steve Hackett. This is Peter from progrock.com, Liege of Cookies. And how are you today, Steve?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I'm I'm doing pretty good. It's I'm speaking to you from the UK. It's kind of dark and dingy here, but I'm going to see Cirque du Soleil later on with a few pals in the music business, so
Oh,
that'll be
nice.
interesting.
I've never I've never seen that, but I'm sure it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
And it's nice. I'm in Tampa, Florida, so I know you're coming to the Florida area. The
that's
uh,
right.
the,
Yes.
the Clearwater show, that's about a 45-minute drive for me, so I plan to go to that.
Right. Looking
And
forward to coming back to Florida. I mean, if nothing else, for the weather.
for the weather.
Indeed.
And
Yeah, please.
in February, it should still be nice. It's not
Oh, that sounds good. It's
not
going to
crazy.
spoil me for everywhere else, but there we go.
So, all right. So about the upcoming tour you're having, I see you're doing a few dates before the United States tour, according to your website. Those are
Yes.
a little bit separate, a different band you're doing, or is it the same?
Yeah, well, we have what we have this year. I'm doing a few dates around Florida. Then it's Cruise to the Edge. Then I'm off to do South American stuff with a band called Genetics. So it won't be my own band, but I'll be I'll be guesting with them. We're doing five South American countries. I'm also doing Europe. So it will be a busy year of a lot of different things, and I'm recording furiously. And I will be doing the UK. We'll be doing a Royal Albert Hall show and a tour later on in the year. So it'll be a busy year, and then I think the following year will be even busier. I've got a feeling. So that's the way it goes.
That's the way it is. Yeah.
That's what we signed up for. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Playing
yeah,
live in front of people, which is kind of what it's all about these days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it easier for you? And I know playing in a band has its challenges, especially when you're younger and you're trying to establish a marriage and kids and stuff like that. But Do you
Yeah, I
find do you
mean,
find it easier nowadays as you're older, or?
I tell you what, I found a lot of things easier
Mhm.
when I was younger, in my teens and in my 20s. Um, Most of the time, I was dealing with a hangover every day and a perpetual cough from smoking too much.
Mhm.
So even though I looked young and fit, substantially younger, but fitter. I would say possibly, arguably fitter now, feeling fitter now than
Yeah.
I was then. And of course, I wanted my fingers to be able to fly in those days,
Mhm.
but uh, I think my fingers fly with more, more grease on them or something. Something
More-
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So the band you're playing with, can you go through the band and who's in the band and just to give the people who haven't seen you
Sure.
who these
Yeah.
people are? Yeah.
O- Okay. Now my band is the new band lineup that I'll have, because we'll be in rehearsals next month. That'll have three Swedish guys in. I'll mention who the Swedish guys are because
Mhm.
I started working with Swedes all these years ago. First it was one, then it was two, and now it's going to be three. Roger King, my regular keyboard player, has decided to retire ostensibly, well, from working with me. Whether he's going to retire from music, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I know that he's a classical player, I think, at heart, and I think he wants to stay at home and practice Bach. And I know he was having lessons to learn how to play Chopin very quietly a few years
Wow.
ago.
Okay.
He was doing that. So having played keyboard all his life. But anyway, he decided to pull out. And so
Okay.
we have a guy called Lale Larson, who I've only worked with in the studio, but he's a brilliant virtuoso. So I'm
Mhm.
sure he's going to be really, really good. The other Swede we have is Nat Sylvan, who is a singer who does and basically the Genesis songs I do. He sings. He has a Genesis voice.
Okay.
Um, that's how that is. And he looks more like like a sort of Robert Plant clone from a distance.
I
You
think, yeah,
know,
I've seen pictures.
lots of
Yeah,
blonde hair, lots
yeah.
of blonde hair. But he sounds more like a cross between Peter Gabriel meets Phil Collins, and at times meets Richie Havens. He's got
No.
that kind of chameleon-like ability to become those singers. Let me see. The other guys in the band, Rob Townsend, who plays sax and flutes and whistles and all sorts of things. He's become a total multi-instrumentalist. He's
Right.
doing some drums on pads. He's doing vocals. He's doing extra keyboards. Um, then we have Jonas Reingold. Did I
Hmm.
mention Jonas? The other
Not,
another
not yet.
another Swede who's on
Yeah.
bass and other guitar duties. And a German drummer called Felix Lerman. So I think at the moment I'm the only guy living in the UK. Although Rob was originally from the UK, he now
Hmm.
lives in Denmark. So there we are.
Okay.
It's a kind of United Nations of a band,
Yeah.
and
That's a lot of things are these days. Yeah. Do you
yeah,
guys, they all come to the UK to rehearse, or I'm
that's
sure.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they will be. It was something that Jonas was saying a while back. He said, "I think we should strive to have the Real Madrid of progressive rock bands, with all the best players in it." And
Uh-huh.
I certainly have that, because they're all incredible players, and
Yeah.
so I'm proud of that. And vocally, it's
Yeah.
good too. So there are a lot of people who can sing in the band as well.
That's good.
So we can cover a lot of bases with that.
Yeah.
Um, I find it hugely interesting the way it's all shaped up bit by bit, brick by brick, much
Hmm.
the same as the way music takes shape and the way that I write. I get ideas brick by brick. You know, there's this possibility, there's this possibility, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow.
Right.
So each day I get a new idea, and it might only be a very small idea,
Hmm.
but nonetheless, it'll be um, it'll be a stunning idea, or else it won't be an idea at all. That's the idea. If it doesn't stun me, I'm not going to bloody well use it.
It's difficult. I come up with ideas sometimes, and when I'm
Hmm.
asleep, and then I wake up, oh darn it, what was that idea? Or if you don't write it down or pick up guitar and start
Yes,
playing something, you
I've
lose
I've
it.
I, I've had that happen. I think that happens. That's the loneliness of the long distance songwriter. You dream it. If you're lucky, you write it down straight away.
Right.
And I've had several things that were like that I've been able to capture. The first two ideas that came along, I wasn't really able to capture them, but I was able to utilize them in a way. Um, but then I
Yeah.
started to remember whole melodies
Yeah.
that I'd been dreaming, and it is very important to get it down as
Yeah.
quickly as possible. I tend to write it down. I'm I'm um, I'm I'm a great fan of the unforgiving blank page,
Paper. Yeah.
that it doesn't seduce you with sound or volume, no tyranny of volume, no seduction. If it works great on the page, then you're there. So I'm old school in that way.
Right.
I trust in paper.
Yeah. Or sometimes you look back at a piece of paper and you try to play it and say, what in the world is this? You
Well,
forget.
it doesn't always work. And what seems amazing one moment when you're half asleep and you read it back, much like a drug-induced euphoria. Not everything is wonderful,
Right.
but but usually if I'm moved to write it down and I think it's very, very good, then chances are it'll be good when I go to it again,
Right.
recapitulate. I trust that more than recording it. The idea of having to go
Mm.
and record something straight away, um, I don't trust that. I,
Yeah.
I trust ink
Ink and
on
paper.
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So for the songs, what's the song when you're picking the songs for the upcoming tour? You decide on some specific songs you want to do. Are there any songs in your catalog that you think,
You,
hey,
you,
I haven't played this in so long, and then you try to play it, it's like, wait a minute, this is too difficult. Let's scratch that one and move
well,
on.
what I find is that most difficulty comes with remembering exactly
Hmm.
what was going on, and it'll probably be non-virtuosic moments. It'll just be some little dinky do of a thing, and you go, "What the hell were those notes?" You know,
Uh-huh.
something like Musical Box, for instance, Genesis track from 1971.
Hmm.
I always have to go back to certain phrases with that. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
it has to be done. To recapitulate all of that will take me a little bit of time.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas something that's more difficult, like Water of the Skies, um, it's so in my DNA. I won't
Yeah.
I won't rehearse it. I just remember it, and if I hit a blank on it, then I know that it'll come very, very quickly.
Right.
I won't spend time on it.
Hmm.
Certain songs I won't spend time on. Devil's Cathedral, even though it's very difficult, a song of mine.
Hmm.
Shadow of the Hierophant, if I do that because it's its anniversary, actually it was its anniversary last year. Ace of Wands and Shadow of the Hierophant from Voyage of the Acolyte, my first solo outing.
Hmm.
I'll be doing those. We'll only do the whole thing when Amanda Lehman is with me, Shadow of the Hierophant, when we do the vocal part to that
Okay.
tune. And the thing I have to relearn myself is the opening guitar phrases because um, it doesn't fall under the fingers. It's a very simple thing, and it sounds like a singer. It's got a very sort of
Yeah.
vocal
Hmm.
quality about it. So when you get a girl and you get the guitar taking over from the girl, it sounds like a sort of operatic guitar part. I
Right.
fade in the notes. I don't give it any plectrum. I'm after a voice,
Hmm.
and it seems to get that very well.
Oh, nice.
There we are. That's one of the little things. I think I first heard guitar sounding like a voice with a Jeff Beck. I thought, the odd
Right.
note would go off and it would sound like a woman's voice, and
Hmm.
um, and then Eric Clapton was coming up with this idea of woman tone. So when he was doing "I'm Your Witch Doctor," there's a long sustained phrase that repeats the same two notes endlessly instead of a solo, but it sounds like a spooky, witchy woman vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of hackles back of the neck. Oh, can
Yeah.
guitars do that? Wow. Yeah, well, that's guitars can do that when you've got the right equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Equipment and effects. So you're playing all over the place. Is there ever a country you haven't been to that you'd like to go to?
Oh my goodness, I haven't been to Bhutan yet. I haven't been there, and I've not been to its near neighbor, Nepal.
Yeah.
I've not been there. And there are certain other places that I've not been to, the kind of Tajikistan, although I've worked with a guy from there who sent me stuff. So yeah, there are certain places, that I've not been to. Not all the places I want to visit are stable politically, so you've
Right.
got
Right.
to rein it in a little bit.
Right.
These places that have antiquities that are worth seeing. Fortunately, when I traveled to Egypt, it was calm, and the temples, the antiquities are just mind-blowingly inspiring.
Yeah.
I,
Absolutely.
I I do like Middle Eastern stuff. I like the Middle Eastern. I like the scale, the Arabic scale, very much. Similar to Indian modes, similar to blues in a way.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think those sorts of things can work very well on guitar. You know,
Yeah.
those those regions. So I believe it's called the Phrygian or Phrygian mode.
I'm
which
not sure.
that's a good one. Well, it's the sort of you'd recognize it because you'd know straight away when something sounded Middle Eastern.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
when you're on tour in a different countries, do you find time to go out and explore the country as you're in? Do you have time to do some sightseeing and all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, I travel with my wife Jo, and she is very much concerned with the history of places and wants to know what's underneath and what's to the side. And even if we've only got an hour to go out and explore, we usually do.
Yeah,
Um, so we're writing a book together about our journeys to
yeah,
places, and that's something that's been a long-term commitment.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I hope we'll be able to take people to places a little bit further than the blogs do. The blogs tend to and pictures, of course. We've been
right.
we added it up that we've been to something like 80 countries,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
not all of them are on the touring map for musicians,
Mm,
but purely as a tourist, pure curiosity to visit certain places.
right.
I mean, I did get to travel and play in Russia, but that's probably over 10 years ago now, and
Yeah.
suddenly that is so it's off the map again now. But
Right.
East and
Right.
West were talking to each other, and it was okay.
Mm,
So that was interesting, because
yeah.
I do really enjoy a lot of Russian classical music. Been to China again. I like Chinese music. I like Japanese music. I like all
Yeah.
of that. Uh, um, if I spent longer, I mean, I would love to check out some gamelan orchestras.
Mm,
Um, but there's
yeah.
only there's only one lifetime as far
Hmm.
as we know it. So
Hmm.
I'll be traveling this year to interesting places. I hope to go to Patagonia. Never been
Right.
before, but that's on the list. What kind of music they have there? Couldn't tell you. That's why it'll be an interesting trip, a
Yeah.
research trip. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of going out on tour, as a culinarian, what country would you say has the best food?
Oh
If
my
you're in,
God. Well, best food. Well, a lot of things said disparagingly about American food, but actually, I think that American cuisine is very good. Um,
well, they say that about British food. It's it's very
no, well,
dull and but uh
do you know what they said about British food was always pretty dreadful because it wasn't prepared properly a lot of the time.
right.
But British food these days, um, chances are, if you go to a restaurant, it will be Italian or Indian or
Hmm.
Nepalese or Chinese or blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
There used to be more Greek restaurants, but the Greek restaurant that we've been going to for years has just closed down. That
Uh
was known as our canteen. It's just closed down. So sadly, we have to say goodbye to Greek food for a while. A lot
uh
of the Greek places have closed down since Brexit, which has done great harm to the workforce here in England.
yeah.
But hey, we'll live to fight another day.
I know if you're in Florida, if you ever have time, which you may not, there's a town called Tarpon Springs, which has a great Greek community, and you can
Really,
find amazing Greek restaurants there.
right.
Yeah, that's you're going
I've
to
got to write
be
that down.
Tarpon
Carbon sprit.
Tarpon Springs. You're
Oh,
well,
Tarpon Springs.
you're in Clearwater. It's probably closest to Clearwater.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it's probably about 30 minutes from Clearwater. But
Really,
if you have such time, it's a fishing village. It's a sponge dock
really,
where
really. Oh, wow.
people go diving for sponges, and it's a
Fantastic.
fishing community and a big Greek
Really.
community. Yep.
I'm writing that down. There we go. That's good.
So
Yeah,
if you
good.
go
How
there,
long? It sounds lovely. it sounds far too warm and
It
gorgeous.
it is wonderful.
We,
I
the people of the cold here, it's been ferociously cold here recently.
yeah,
It's just eased up a little bit
right.
at the moment, which is great news for us Brits. I mean, there'll be another cold spell again soon, I'm sure, because
Right.
it's that time of year when, unfortunately, more people seem to die at this time of year.
Yeah, it's depressing. I grew up in Pennsylvania in the northeast of the United
Yes.
States where it's cold. So I said, no, the heck with this. I'm moving to Florida. I like the summer. I like 10 months of summer. I'm not going to deal with.
Right, yeah, yeah. 10 months of summer. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When
Well,
as long as you don't come here in July, August, September and do an outdoor show, then you're in trouble.
all right. Okay, yeah, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I've done outdoor shows in Italy when it's been ferociously hot,
Right.
melting equipment and
Uh,
personnel. It's put people in hospital, believe me. But it's still wonderful to be able to do it. It's just sound checks in the afternoon when the sun is up. It's just brutal,
uh-huh.
brutal. Yeah.
So I want to ask you a quick question, a little bit
Sure.
outside of the box, not about the current tour or anything.
Sure.
Um, for your second album, Please Don't Touch, I want to know how you got together with Steve Walsh and Phil Ehart of Kansas, because I'm a big Kansas
Yeah.
fan, and how that came to be. I was always curious about that.
Do you know, we're talking about the 70s. I'm trying to remember. I met those guys. Um, I was aware of the album that had Carry On Wayward Son,
Mhm.
and I thought the vocals were terrific. They were obviously influenced by progressive music, so there
Mhm.
was this, this thing of reverencing the kinds of bands that I'd been involved with. Um, and Steve had this incredible voice. I met Phil, and he basically managed the band as well as
Right.
Phil Earhart managed the band as well as being the drummer. And funnily enough, I worked again with Phil in recent years
Yeah.
on something. And we recorded in Los Angeles. Um, I think that at that time I was working mainly with Chester Thompson and Dave LeBolt, who was Richie Havens' keyboard player. I believe he went on to work with David Bowie, Dave. Um, um, my brother was with me, I remember, and John Aycock. So we had a kind of English team, and we were meeting the
Mhm.
American team, and trying to find, a kind of common language in a way. That wasn't always easy.
Right.
We're both speaking English, but what I realized was that um, when I was in my late 20s, mid to late 20s, I realized that I'd worked, almost exclusively within Genesis, and we had our own language for
Hmm.
things,
Right.
our own set of references. And so, as an unschooled musician, um, I sometimes struggled to get across what kind of rhythm I wanted for
Mm.
something. And it was the Americans who set me straight, actually. And that was fine. It's been
Yeah.
a learning curve my entire life. They're great working with them.
Yeah.
Um, and I befriended the whole band. They spent time with me in the UK when they were over touring and did a great show live. And every now and again, I'm listening to a rock station, a classic rock station at home, and Carry On Wayward Son comes on, and you can't argue with the power of those vocals. He
Right.
had a
He
great,
was.
Steve had a great range,
Hmm.
extraordinarily high. When he
Yeah.
was recording with me, um, he was reaching notes that we didn't think was actually possible. He was someone who said to me, he said, because he was hearing me sing as well, doing demos, he said, you've got a good voice. It's just untrained. And
Uh-huh.
he kind of gave me confidence to,
Hmm.
work out vocally myself and take
Ah,
things on further. So that was interesting. Gradually, I started to do more vocals, but I still do
hmm.
not do Genesis vocals. I don't have
Right,
that kind of voice.
right, right.
I'm somewhere between a. I c- I can do a rock singer, but uh, ballad singing. I'm at least as interested in what the balladeers do or what the country guys do, as well as what rock singers do,
Right.
um, and blues as well. And it all depends how you're going at it. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm doing. I was listening to a blues album I did many years ago, which has probably sold least well than anything I've ever done,
Hmm.
and yet I did one song. I it was a classic Chicago blues, and I sang it down the octave through a wah wah pedal, and it had, funnily enough, you know, that had more soul than all the others where I'm singing. "Ah," I'm up
Yeah.
there, and trying to give it something. That white boy is never going to work. But down the octave through this, the extreme EQ of a wah wah pedal, um, it really created an extraordinary thing. So I'm a closet harmonica player. I
Ah,
do
yeah.
blues harp. That's what I grew up doing. But it wasn't a professional thing for me. The blues boom died on me, as it did many people, around about 1969
Mm,
into the 70s. Music was starting to change,
yeah.
and so classical music was a kind of guilty pleasure, but I was doing it and playing it on guitar, and then Genesis came along and wanted someone who could play electric and 12 string. So
Yeah.
I I seemed to fit,
You fit
the
the
mold,
mold.
the
Yeah.
brief. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could do those things. So I guess I've been a chameleon ever since.
Yeah,
I didn't
always
I didn't say comedian. Ha, but there we
chameleon.
go.
I always tell the story. My mother was an opera singer.
Uh,
I couldn't sing to save my life. I should have paid more
really?
attention because
Oh wow.
my mom used to have opera parties there. We lived in a big house. My had a
Yeah,
big half grand piano, and
right.
all her opera friends would come over, smoking and drinking and singing opera
Yeah,
songs, and I would hate it. I would go up into my room, play Atari, and my friends would
really.
come by. Oh, there's Peter's house. Oh,
Right.
but
Yeah.
now
Ah,
looking back at it, I said, man, I wish I would have spent more time and
yes.
maybe learn
Learning
something
that.
because I'm not.
Learning that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think to immerse yourself, or at least have an acquaintance with other genres, is probably a
hmm
very is probably a very good thing.
yeah,
Um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Whether it's folk music, jazz, blues,
yeah.
um, modern stuff, whatever. Yeah,
There was
it's
a
important. It's important to be open.
yeah, there was a one of my mother's opera circle friends was a doo-wop singer from Philadelphia in the 50s.
Uh-huh.
He was
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
nice guy, and
yeah,
I pull up his music, and it's just amazing. All the doo-wop stuff. It's a whole
yeah.
different whole different style of music, but it's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I think the Jordanaires backing Elvis Presley at
Mm,
times, there is that aspect of that, and those guys were great singers. It wasn't just Elvis
yeah.
who had a great voice, but I think in those days, rock music, although it was referred to as such post Bill Haley, I think that it didn't have the tyranny of volume that it acquired
Hmm.
once amps were turned up to 11 and all the rest. The idea of the excess of that. I think that we're talking the days before light shows. We're talking about the days
Right.
before volume as we know it. Uh, yeah, we're talking about tiny PAs and all the rest, and all the
Right.
energy has to be coming off the stage. But
Right.
um, uh, extraordinary singers,
Right. Back then the
with Italian backgrounds,
hmm
have this ability. I mean, I've heard it. I've stood on stage in Adria in Italy and opposite a a singer, a classical singer, and this guy was singing without the aid of a mic, and
Yeah.
I'm practically falling over in front of him because he's hitting some incredible things. Those guys don't need PAs.
Right. They don't.
That's right.
They,
That was, it was throwing the voice around the auditoriums,
right.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, laudable, great. Love to have that power. Don't possess it,
Right.
but maybe in another lifetime we'll see. Mario Lanza, let me at it. Yeah, Mario Lanza, great voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The walls shaking to the sound of Mario Lanza.
Yeah. I remember sitting with my mother and listening to her play music, and she would rip into famous singers like, oh, he's terrible, because
Oh,
and
really? Oh, okay.
most people would say, oh no, he's great, and because my grandmother loved Luciano Pavarotti, my mom didn't
Yes.
like him.
Okay.
So it's like,
Well, there
to
we
me
go. Yeah.
it's each their own, to each their own, and
Yeah,
I
I think more than
enjoyed that.
more than any other thing, I think with singers that it's entirely subjective.
Right.
My my brother some years ago he said listening to the Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten. He said he said it makes Dylan sound like Caruso by comparison.
Right.
It's pretty observant, but
Right. I was telling my daughter last night, hey, if you want to learn how to play guitar or bass, learn that song by the Ramones, Hey Ho, Let's Go. It's a super
yeah,
simple, easy
yeah,
song to play, and then we can
yeah.
play it together. It'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But to each their own. I get when people argue about somebody's top 10 list, my top 10 whatever progressive rock songs, people get upset. Well, why didn't you include this? Why didn't you include that? It's all subjective. It's just whoever they like. It's not one is
Absolutely.
better
Yeah.
than the other. Yeah.
No, I think
Yeah.
many times people would talk about progressive bands and they very rarely ever mention Procol Harum, um,
Oh,
who
right.
sound as progressive as they come. A great use of orchestra, great use of classical meets soul meets blues, great lyrics, um, great comedy at times. But usually people will mention certain progressive bands.
Oh, right, right, right.
They'll mention ELP, King Crimson, Genesis, Yes,
Yes. Hmm.
Jethro Tull, and it tends to stop there. Really, they go,
Right,
yeah, those British bands, fine, or Floyd, who were never thought of as a progressive band in the early days because that term didn't actually exist.
right.
Progressive was a
There.
term that I heard as applied to free jazz in the
Mm.
1960s, but then um, it seems that the term progressive goes right back to the early 1900s, and it was Richard Strauss talking about Edward Elgar, The Dream of Gerontius. So that's how far back it goes. Something
Hmm.
like 1911, we're talking, that's it. It's been with
Right.
us a while. Is it ever going to die? Well, hey, it survived for more than a century. So shut up.
It's it's still around and kicking, thankfully. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's many different flavors and varieties and bands.
Indeed, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It doesn't have to be impenetrable. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to have difficult time signatures. It doesn't have to have a Hammond organ. Doesn't have to have a mellotron. But there's
Right.
no problem if it includes all those things as well. It's not, But I'm forever going to be known as a progressive artist, even if I go out and record Bach,
You
which
can.
I've done. I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I recorded seven pieces of Bach in my time.
Yeah.
But it's the great God Wikipedia is always going to say the 70s prog
Uh,
this, that, and the other. Funnily enough, it was artificial intelligence the other day that somebody looked up. I think it was my wife looked up and said, "How many albums has Steve Hackett done?" And instead of saying more than 30 solo albums, it said three. So it hasn't quite
Oof.
caught up. It hasn't quite caught up with it. It doesn't know everything. So yeah, I've done 3 albums. You know,
Wow.
it's
Well,
been
you need to start working. What are you doing? You're being lazy. What's going on?
yeah, I need to do more. I need to do more gigs, work with more people. That's right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
terrible.
I'm trying my best. But
Yeah,
hey,
that's funny.
yeah.
All right. I'm not sure how much time you have, but
Well, I have to go in a minute because I'm supposed to
yeah,
be going up to see Cirque du Soleil tonight, which
I
is
figured as much. So okay.
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, all right. It's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure
Yeah.
speaking to you. And
Nice talking to you, Peter. All the
I
best.
will hopefully I will definitely well not hopefully, but I'll see you in Clearwater and hopefully you get out to
Right.
Tarpon Springs. Remember if you go out there and remember, hey, Peter told me about this. And if the food is
Right.
bad, which I don't think it will, you can blame me, but it won't be
Right.
bad.
Thank you. And thanks for the heads up as far as
Yeah.
Tarpon Springs. I hope to make use of that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It'd be
All
great.
right.
All
All
right,
the
Steve.
best.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Take care.
Cheers, Peter.
Enjoy. Bye bye.
Ciao.